All right, my Food Mood friends, welcome back. Chandra is in Odyssey. I am going to talk more about working out, and specifically, I want to share with you guys today the most efficient workout I have found and why I love it so much and why it's my favorite. I just love this workout, and so I wanted to share it with you guys. And I'm going to wrap it into a few of the things that I've been talking about over the last season or so.
Welcome! Here is your hostess and coach, Chandra Zas, helping people make food and mood changes doable without missing out. Go ahead, high five that like button, subscribe and share while you're there.
I took a big break this winter from working out, which was revealing in how bad I felt when I didn't work out. It was like, so that there's a concept I like to teach in my coaching program where there's like a roller coaster where we and specifically I do like the food reset, and I'm like, just see what it feels like in your body, but it's not the plan to stay on it forever. The plan is to just create a new baseline, see what your body feels like without all of the normal Western processed foods, and then use that as evidence and reason to choose foods like that. And part of the process is to have planned exceptions and notice how we feel when we eat them. Do our symptoms flare? Do we need to sleep more? Do we feel more foggy or inflamed or bloated or brain foggy? What happens? Or less focus in our brain? And so it becomes this kind of connection piece to, well, how do these foods really make me feel? Because most of us are kind of disconnected to what foods actually make us feel which way. And food is so foundational. Exercise is also super important to our health, and it's one of my weaker links. It's not something that consider myself, well, maybe I'm becoming an expert in it. I think that part of what I've gone through in this last specifically few months has been really revealing to me. One of the reasons is because I'm reading this book Outlive by Peter Tia, and his whole stance is that exercise is the best longevity drug. And one of the points he makes in that book is that exercise has a tremendous impact on our brain and our mood and our mental health, which I hadn't fully connected, but is very, very true. I had connected in certain ways, but as I've been playing with my own exercise routine over these last few months, I took a huge break in the winter. I think there was a month that I didn't walk, which is crazy for me. I mean, I think for the last 20 years, I have at least walked every day. Walking is my baseline. It's also what I teach my clients. Walking is baseline for health, getting our muscles moving, get our lymph moving. But it was so snowy here, and I just didn't. And I didn't beat myself up about it, but I was curious to see how it felt. And wow, it felt horrible. So I was like, okay, well, how am I gonna get back into working out? And I tried these HIIT dance workout classes, which were great. They got me moving and they felt pretty good for 20 minutes. And then one of my clients came to one of my coaching calls, and she was just raving about how great she was feeling after Bikram yoga. And I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I actually went to Bikram training and taught Bikram yoga in Long Island for 6 months after I graduated from college. I didn't want to do graphic design in a cubicle. I decided to do an alternative route. Yoga was my first move and first career post-college. And I loved how I felt with Bikram yoga. It felt so good to be in a hot room, to sweat. I think that's a lot of the magic. The series is incredible. It's a great series. And I was doing often doubles or triples. I was teaching, I was taking, I was just immersed all the way through college. I found Bikram yoga in the beginning of college. So for, 6-7 years, I did a lot of Bikram yoga, and I felt so amazing. When my client was like, I feel so good. And I was like, oh yes, I want to do that. Hello, my friend. How are you? I'm in the Dead Sea, floating in the water. Go ahead and like and share and follow so we can keep in touch. And then I started looking at my schedule, and I was like, okay, I have my daughter that is a big priority to me. I'm with her before school. I take her to school. I pick her up from school. I'm with her after school. So I have already limited hours. I have my work, my clients, everything that I do during the day. And I was like, Bikram yoga is a 90-minute class. Some classes you can do 60 minutes, but it's still like you gotta travel there, this whole thing. And I was like, wow, I was like, yes, I remember how great I felt doing that, but like realistically it doesn't fit my schedule. And so rewind back to when my partner and I started living on our cruise ship, which I'm gonna actually create a special bonus series about life on the cruise ship. But how it pertains to this story is that we both gained weight in the beginning of the first contract. We were both kind of like, let's just see how this goes, living on a cruise ship, eating cruise ship food. And we would like go to the gym, we would walk around the gym and lift weights and do stuff for an hour or two. But we both gained about 10 pounds. We went on our first climbing trip in Argentina after his first contract. And it took us a few weeks to just like get back in shape and drop some weight because it's hard to climb when you're overweight. So we decided, I actually noticed the entertainment staff on the ship. I was like, what are they doing to stay in good shape? Because they were kind of the only ones who looked like they were in good shape. And they were like, well, we do insanity. And I was like, what's insanity? And they showed me, and they actually gave me, because on the cruise ship, you have very limited Wi-Fi. So they actually gave me some downloaded files. And originally it was his original one that was like between 40 to 50 minutes. And he, a couple of years later, came out with a new one, Insanity Max 30. So it's 30 minutes. And I started doing it because I was just like, I just don't want to feel this way in my body on the cruise ship. And I had all you need is like a floor space, a 10 by 10 floor space, and your body weight. You don't need any machines, and you just need the video. And you just do what he says and jump around. And he's very entertaining. He's very motivational. Shanti, I really, really like him. And his workout, very similar to Bikram's sequence, has this certain feel to it that is just full body. It has this, I've tried many other HIIT workouts and it's not the same. Like there's something about the way that he puts them together that has this effect on my body like I have not found any other workout. So we started doing Insanity. This is back in 2016, I believe. And we would do it just when we were on the cruise ship, and then we would go rock climbing and we wouldn't do it. And we used Insanity as our workout on the cruise ship. It was 30 minutes. My partner would do it on his lunch break. He would come for lunch. We would run up to the gym, do our quick workout, eat a little bit of food, which I'm going to talk more about what food we ate on the cruise ship in another post. But excuse me. And then, and it felt amazing. And I really, I felt strong in my body. And it's 30 minutes. And so, and this last couple months is I'm like, okay, how am I gonna get back into my working out? Like, I really wanna feel this certain way in my body. Like when I work out, and I've had other workouts. So Bikram yoga, climbing, particularly climbing when I have to carry a heavy bag up a hill, like that combination, going to the climbing gym doesn't do it for me. It's not the same, but hiking up a hill with heavy weight or Insanity. I've also been a part of kickboxing classes, and I used to do, what is that? Brazilian dance workout fight. I forgot what it's called. I've done African dance. I've done a lot of different types of workouts. And for me, a big part of it is fun. Do I like it? But a really, really big part of it is how do I feel in my body and also in my brain? How do I feel after I've worked out? And so I started doing Insanity a couple weeks ago again, and it was incredible how I felt after one class. And I would guess that part of that is that my body has done it before so many times that there was a memory. I'm not sure that every person would have that same first experience, but I could just feel my lymph, my whole body, my muscles, my brain re-energize and wake up in a way that I haven't felt in a long time, in months, maybe close to a year, I would say. It's not the same for me as going to a gym or even just going to a gym to climb. It's just not the same. There's something about the combination of strength training, like push-ups and just different muscle stuff, squats, a lot of squats, and cardio. There's something about the combination of it in 30 minutes that it just feels, my body feels so good. I feel myself standing stronger. I feel my muscles. I feel really good. I feel like my brain is on in a way. And I had this really cool moment last week, or it was, I've either been doing it 2 or 3 weeks now. And it was about a week in, and I had the thought of well, I could skip it today. And then I was like, no, I want to feel good. And it was such this beautiful moment, because that's like the moment that I see my clients go through my program with food, where it's like, I could eat this cake, but I want to feel the way that I know that I'm going to feel this afternoon if I make the choice not to have the cake. And so I haven't had that moment in so long, because for me, food is just like, it's so established, my relationship with food and just like choosing nourishing. It's just so easy for me. But with exercise, it's like I'm walking myself through the journey that I walk my clients through. And to have that, I could skip it, but I choose to do the thing that's gonna make me feel good long term. And that is the falling in love with healthy you. And so to have that moment myself and my own personal experience around exercise was just so elating. I was just like, I was, wow, just thinking, I was actually standing just over like 15 feet that way. And I remember just having that moment and being like, I choose to feel really good for the rest of the day. And it's true, every time I'm doing it, every day I'm doing it, I feel so much better than if I don't. And yeah, I do want to say a couple things for those of you who have never done Insanity. I have a couple friends who I recommended it to, and they've struggled with it. And I want to say that, like, because I actually did Insanity during my pregnancy and after my pregnancy, and there is a modifier track. And I really recommend it if you have any kind of injury, or even if you're just getting in shape. Like for me, my motto is like very much like how my partner and I's motto is whenever we do big climbing trips. It's always like, don't get injured the first few weeks. Like the first 3 weeks is when most injuries happen and they end your climbing trip. And so it's the same, I use the same mindset with my working out. It's like, okay, like go mellow, don't over push it, and don't get injured. So it's like, hey, well, how do I listen to my body and like really like modify it to where I'm at? I mean, I will fully admit I am doing girl push-ups, and I'm even doing girl push-ups with my butt in the air because my arms are just not strong. You'll see, they're not so bad, but you will see them get stronger. I mean, this is my little daughter, she actually squishes them. She's like one of her self-soothing things. But my arms will get a lot stronger, which will be awesome. But my arms are not naturally very strong. And so I would really advise you, if you're going to do this based on this video, I would really advise you to take it slow. Use the modifier track and really listen to your body. There's another piece of information that I think is really useful. I had this dinner with a new friend a few nights ago. It's actually my partner's friend's partner, and she used to be a professional soccer player. I'm really gonna try to get her on the podcast this summer because I really want to talk to her more about this. She was a professional soccer player, and now she's a coach for athletes. And she herself has just totally dialed like nutrition and food, but also exercise. And I was asking her like some of her top health hacks, which I would really want to share with you. I loved what she said. I was just like, yeah. I'm not going to sidetrack us there. I'm going to keep on what I asked her about exercise. Like, how does she talked about, and I'm sorry about my science. My science is not super strong, but she was talking about the importance of staying in, and I'm not even sure if it's aerobic or anaerobic, for a longer time. And I said, well, how do you actually help your athletes do that? And she said, well, one of the biggest things is to stay breathing through your nose. And so like that keeps us, oh, my science is so poor. Carbon, it keeps us like at a workout level where our body, so for me, what I notice in so you can see that my science is like very, very, I'm not a scientific person. It's just not my forte. But how I translate it into my experience is that I have always told my partner that like, I feel like when I push myself too far, for me, I feel this acidic feeling in my body. And she said, well, and so then I asked her, because somehow that came up, and I asked her, and she was like, well, yeah. She's like, that's the lactic acid being released in your body. And if you keep yourself in this aerobic or anaerobic state below that level, then it stops your body from getting all of this acid in your system. And I was like, yes, I can feel that in my body. And then she said, well, one of the tools, I said, well, how do you teach that to people? And she said, well, one of these tools is to just breathe through your nose. If you only breathe through your nose, you have to go at a certain rate that keeps you below this threshold. And then I told her about Insanity, and she was like, HIIT workouts, they're not great for women, they're not great long-term, da, 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 da. And I was like, but wait a minute. I was like, I'm pretty sure that I'm keeping myself below that threshold. And so the next week after we had this dinner, I breathed through my nose the entire workout. Like I never got to a place where I was like having to pant and use my mouth. And so I'm gonna talk to her about it again. But I think that could be a really useful tool to get to work out and engage your body, your blood, your muscles without going too much. Like I think that there is a line in working out. And she was saying like that it's really important to keep just building that base. And that's how I feel. It's like I'm all about just like going at this certain pace where I'm sweating and I'm sore, but I'm not feeling, for me, it's acidic. And I've always thought it was maybe in my head and I was just oversensitive. If you're someone who actually feels it, I would love you to comment below. I, for the first time in my life, had it confirmed by this lady because that it's actually a thing and that we actually do release all this acid in our body. I also feel it, the way that I can describe it to other people is like how I feel after like waking up for a plane ride, like at 3 a.m., that feeling in my body feels so acidic. And so I'm sure it's connected to being interrupted in our sleep and not, cleaning out our body from all of the magic that happens when we sleep. But there's also a way that we can not induce that state when we overwork out. And so I don't want you to think that like I'm telling you, do Insanity, push yourself super hard, injure yourself, go beyond your limits. Like there's something that I just really find extremely efficient about Shaun T's Insanity. Something about the way he puts the workouts together. I've tried other HIIT workouts, they're not the same for me. And then also combined with like really modifying it, like really keeping your body, listening to your body, of which, and sometimes like I don't follow the schedule. I choose which workouts feel good to my body. And if I really feel like my body's ready for a rest, I do take a rest day. There's a pulse workout that's like practically like a rest day. It's mostly stretching. We have a phrase when we're climbing, because it's really easy to just climb day after day, but like then you just run out of climbing juice. And so we call rest days are the best days. So I also think that resting is really important for recovery in our bodies and stuff. This video has gotten quite long, but I wanted to share this perspective on working out and more of my story, and particularly Insanity. You can find it on Beachbody. I also do not get any affiliates. They're not paying me. They don't even know that I'm making this video, but it's just one of my best tools for my healthcare and my mental health care. It's the first thing I did this morning after I dropped my daughter off at school. For my physical well-being, for the pains in my body. Like I just did I'm not sure if the video is gonna come out last week or next week. I just did one on tools that I use to keep for my body. And those tools in combination with working out, and for me doing this Insanity is just such a perfect workout. If I had more time, I probably would do a couple hours of yoga a few times a week. But at the moment, it's not my priority. This Insanity 30-minute workout is perfect for me to get the feeling in my body, get the feeling in my brain in 30 minutes. It's epic. So I recommend it, obviously. So that's a long video, but obviously I had a lot to say and it's really important. Breathe through your nose. It feels really good to keep my body at that level. It's perfectly keeps me getting in shape without getting that lactic acid. And if this message today resonates with you and you want to up-level your health, diet, stress, lifestyle, what is lifestyle? I consider lifestyle kind of like how we live and how we exercise, what we do in all the other moments between diet and stress, how to relieve stress. Anyway, if this message resonates with you, if you like me and you want to work with me, reach out to me, join my Food and Mood program. It's life-changing, literally. And I would look forward to working with you. And thank you so much for your time and attention. And I'll see you next week.